Tarak, you are fascinating to me because you are, I mean, you're talking, you're giving specific ways for people to do certain things. And that's exactly what we look for on a daily basis. But I'm really curious, how did you don't look like you're that old. You look like a very young man. How did you gain all this wisdom? How did you come across all these things?
You said you were a knucklehead. How'd you go from knucklehead into master?
Yeah. Willpower, lots of willpower. I'm actually 228. I was born in 16. Not fine. Yeah, no, I'm not that. I'm not even 40 yet.
Deity behind you, so I can see how.
Yeah. Although immortality is a subject that fascinates me, but I just lots of. So how it really came about was I was going to school. I was like 25, 26 years old. So pretty much I was about to get into my solar return. Yeah, I was like 26. I went back to college. I was going to school. I had 2 jobs, and there was suddenly a day where I didn't have any job to go to or any class to go to. It was like first time in like 4 months. And I thought of all these, when I woke up and realized that, I was like, wait, I have all these things I wanted to do. And then next thing I know, the sun's going down outside of my window. I have no energy. I need to learn about energy. And I remember my dad used to teach me about Tai Chi, when I was a little kid. My parents separated when I was 8. So most of our relationship since then was mostly like over the phone and talking a lot. So I called him up and I asked him, I was like, man, I want to learn more about Chi and energy. And he said, he pretty much just said, okay, go look up Qigong and then see what you find and then come back to me. And so it went to like 4 a.m. that night. I was like Googling, because it was a desktop computer. Our smartphones weren't really that smart at the time. and I was like just looking into Qigong, and then that came to chakras. And then I was just learning, and then it just unfolded like that from then on. I met some lady who gave me this book on hand chakras, and that was only like one chapter of this book. And I never saw that lady again. It was just really weird. I don't even remember who she was or anything. I just remember the lady gave me this book, and I learned about hand chakras and how to heal yourself. And at the time, I had this serious heart issue going on for like the last 2 years. This serious like growth on the back of my head. I didn't know what it was, but it was getting bigger and bigger every day until the size of a nickel. I was like, okay, if these hand chakras are really a thing, let's put it to the practice and find out. And so I did, and I did the technique that it said. And 30 days later, I didn't even do anything with the heart, but you have to open your heart to be able to open your healing energy. And so I just wanted to get the growth on my head because I was really concerned about that. But both within 30 days, I've never had a symptom since. That was over a decade ago. And so then it was like, at that point, like I was kind of serious, but at that point it was like nothing else in my life matters anymore except for understanding this. And so I sold my TV because I didn't use it anymore except to watch like videos, like YouTube videos and things. I would buy a book. I remember going to a bookstore and I looked at every single book in the metaphysics and spirituality section, and I only came away with 2. One I didn't even end up reading. I think it was the 4 Agreements, which a lot of people read. I got 5 pages into it, and I'm like, no, I want like serious stuff more than this.
I need the other book. I need all the agreements.
Actually, the other book, it's in my bedroom, but it's called The Book of Secrets, and it is by far my number 1 recommended book to anybody. It is my favorite book of all time. 112 different centering techniques in there. Ancient tantric techniques. Tantra just means technique, so not like a lot of people get into like sex tantra, but those are just sex specific.
We're not
sex
judging
techniques.
here. Not judging.
There's only like 2 of those out of the 112. The rest are like tons of other things outside of the bedroom. But I mean, I would read something, and then that would inspire me to want to learn about something else. And so I would go and order a book or something to then read after this. But the main thing was I was not just reading these things, but I was putting them to practice immediately. Like the hand chakra book, also at the last chapter, talked about astral projection. And it said, hey, you can charge a glass of water with your hands and create a positive charge on there. And then it'll create a positive charge. Your body is negatively charged and your soul is positively charged. That's how it's so bound together. And then when you drink the water real fast, then it'll positively charge your body and help push it out, or help push your soul out.
Wait.
He has wanted to astral project forever.
That's the whole point of this podcast.
Yes,
wait. This is the book.
You can do it in 2 weeks.
Sure. No. The Book of Secrets. That's what
Well,
it
the
is.
Book of Secrets, I don't know if that one really. If you want to astral project, here's a great book for you. Actually, I think that's also in my bedroom. It's by
You do a
Robert
lot of
Bruce,
reading in your,
Astral
bedroom,
Dynamics.
huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, these are books that I've had for a long time. I reread them all the time. But Astral Dynamics by Robert Bruce. Read that book. It will. I mean, it may take a little longer because it does take a lot of concentration and willpower. So being a Gemini, you have a little more to get over and get past. But
Work
yeah,
on my life.
I'll tell you how.
yeah, I'll send you a couple links to some of my videos and things on the astral projection. That'll
Oh,
help
that would be
with you. And if you
great.
have any questions or anything, definitely reach out. No problem.
Oh, I
No
appreciate
problem
that. And Karen, and so help me. If you astral project before me, I will.
at all.
Oh, it's on.
I mean,
We're gonna have words.
yeah, but I mean, if she does, then she may be able to then help also assist you out in getting out.
She's
Play,
never
you
The
play
main
your cards right.
She's never been interested in this stuff, right? She's never been interested in stuff, and
Yeah.
right? No, in astral projection,
Oh.
and but the same thing with meditation. I meditated for a long time. She couldn't do it. The minute she started, boom! Immediately, it's like, God, Joe, I think I'm finished. So no,
Yeah.
And
no.
I have astral projected, but that's another story
Come on,
for another day.
Well, also, I mean,
come on.
women are more naturally receptive. A Cancer, whether you're a man or a woman, is more naturally receptive. Men are naturally more aggressive. Geminis, whether you're a man or a woman, is naturally more aggressive. And a lot of these things, the success is determined by how well you can put yourself into a receptive state. So it's no surprise that she can just try a couple times and boom, see some success, see some results, and you have a little bit more work to put in for it.
Okay, how's that fair? How is that
I
fair?
don't know.
Life's not fair, baby.
Your soul could have waited like 3 more weeks and or not even that, two more weeks. One.
All right. So
No, I'm just
drink
kidding.
a glass of water really fast, and that's going to make me.
Well, then we have to
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what the book said.
listening.
And I didn't like because I was coming off of 25 years of like strong Christian indoctrination. You know, my mom, I mean, I've witnessed my mom like exorcising demons. It's like our whole family is like in the church. Like when I first got into this, one of my cousins wanted to have a intervention for me just because it was like not of Jesus, the things I was doing. But anyways, so when I read that part, I was like, I don't know about that one. I'll do the hand chakras, but that one I'm put to the side. But like 3 months later, I was like, okay, I'm ready for this. I want to have this experience. And so I did it. It was like 2 a.m, and I charged the water and I drank it really fast. And I laid down on my couch. I didn't want to lay in my bed. And maybe 5-6 minutes in, maybe it was 10, I don't know. This was 12 years ago. But my feet started lifting off of the couch. And in that moment, I thought to myself, oh, I don't know how to get back. If I want to come back, I don't know how to get back. And I read that whole book and that whole chapter. I read that chapter twice, actually. And it doesn't say anything about how to get back. and so then I like jumped up off the couch. I just kept myself awake all night until the water wore off. I don't know if the water actually works because I never tried it again. I had other techniques that I've done since then. But yeah, maybe I should try that water technique again one time. But
so what was the name of that book again for astral projection?
Robert Bruce, Astral Dynamics.
Astral Dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
You said projection. It's actual dynamics.
Yeah. When I woke up from there, I was like, I need a teacher. And so the Book of Secrets written by Osho was like still the #1 book for me. And I was like, okay, let me find this guy. I'm sure he has like an ashram somewhere. I'm gonna learn from this guy. And it was like, oh, he died in like 96. So then I was like, oh, okay, what do? I need to find a teacher. And then a friend of mine told me about this place, School of Metaphysics. And I went there. That's where I learned about dream interpretation. That's where I learned a lot of discipline in practices and things. And then after that, I also learned astral projection there. And I had some success with the techniques that they taught, but it wasn't until 4 or 5 years later, after I left and was learning other things, I did the same thing that I did at the bookstore. I went to Half Price Books this time. And I was just driving down the street, saw Half Price Books. And I was like, you know what? Just something intuitively just made me pull in. And I scoured every single book again. And I only came away with one book, Astral Dynamics by Robert Bruce. And I was like, it didn't even really seem that interesting. But I was like, it was the only thing that kind of piqued my interest. And I went and read it. And the techniques and his whole approach is totally different. It was exactly what I needed, and it works for tons of people. Just because instead of a visual sense, using your visual sense, you're using your sense of feeling and your tactile sense to actually get out of the body. And then also he really describes the different, I call them checkpoints, that you have to go through to get out of your body, which I was already aware of because even before the School of Metaphysics, I was practicing lucid dreaming just on my own and practicing putting my body to sleep and remaining awake, which is actually one of the techniques. So I guess, yeah, that's in the Book of Secrets with Osho. That's one of the 112. But he doesn't, the way he describes it, it's, you just have to practice it on your own and discover the technique on your own to have success. But anyways, the experience that I would have whenever I would have success with the lucid dreams was described like in very good detail with Astral Dynamics and Robert Bruce. Here's this checkpoint and here's why it is. Here's this checkpoint, here's why it is. I'm like, oh yeah, exactly. I experience that every single time. I have a sense of what I'm doing, but now it's much more clear in exactly the hurdles I need to overcome. And then through my own, and so yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in that book, definitely.
Oh my
and
gosh.
he's the one who claims in that book you'll be able to do it in 2 weeks, and he talks about different people who do. And I had a lot of practice well before that book. I also had a lot of success with not necessarily with astral projection up until that point, but lucid dreaming, which is astral projection, up until that point. I had a ton of success with that.
So we've heard that when you astral project, it feels more real than real. Right?
Exactly.
It's not like you feel like you're imagining things. It's actually you're truly experiencing things. Is that how you experience it?
Oh yeah. Well, for me, so there's 4 levels within the subconscious mind. Not to go too deep, but most of the time when you're dreaming.